if I told you that getting rich has almost nothing to do with gambling on meme stocks, starting a crypto empire from your mom's basement, or having access to some secret Illuminati investment fund? Take the example of Jeff Bezos and learn from a guy who has more cash than the hair on his head. He said that if you want to be successful, then you need to focus on the things that won't change over 10 years. It could be a business model or an automated money-making plan that we'll discuss later in the video.
This work-life harmony thing is what I try to teach young employees, actually, and senior executives at Amazon too, but especially the people come in. We're asked about work-life balance all the time. And my view is For
years, we've been fed this fantasy. A fairy tale that the world of wealth is a locked, velvet-roped VIP room, and we're the schmuck stuck in line without a ticket. We're told you need a genius-level IQ, a diploma from a school you can't pronounce, or just dumb luck to even peek inside. That story is a lie. A very profitable lie for the people selling you complexity and get-rich-quick garbage. So what's the truth here? The foundation of real, lasting wealth is built on a simple, almost insultingly boring system. A system that anyone, and I mean anyone, can start using today. It's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with it. It's about the rules you follow. In this video, I'm going to RIP apart their playbook and show you the practical, no BS framework the wealthy use to control their money and build their future. We're demystifying this so you can start applying it to your own life, even if you're starting with pocket change and life full of regrets. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about getting wealthy for good. The great misconception. Let's be brutally honest. Thinking about your money is overwhelming, and it's designed to be. You hear about quantitative easing, asset allocation, yield curves, and your brain just shuts off, like you're in a calculus exam or something. It feels like a game where the rulebook is written in another language, and you're already losing. This feeling, this financial confusion, is exactly what keeps most people stuck on the sidelines, living paycheck to paycheck, even when the paychecks get bigger. The common delusion is that a huge income is the magic bullet that will solve all your problems, that if you just get that big promotion, all your money problems will vaporize. But our society is a graveyard of high earners with nothing to show for it. I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, and engineers pulling in six figures who are drowning in debt, handcuffed to a lifestyle they can't actually afford. Why? Because they fell for the great misconception. They focused on earning more, but they never changed how they think about money. The real difference between the rich and everyone else isn't their salary, it's their behavior. They see money not as something to spend, but as a tool, a worker, to go out and create more wealth. They know a fat paycheck doesn't equal financial freedom. Freedom comes from building systems that put your money to work for you. It's a shift from being a consumer to being an owner. It's about making your money your best employee. One that works 24/7, never calls in sick, and is relentlessly dedicated to building your future. Even the man, Jeff Bezos himself, said that the most important thing isn't thinking about money. It's the energy that you have to come home happy and go to work happy.
I would encourage anybody, if anybody listening to this is an entrepreneur, small business, whatever, think about the things that are not going to change over 10 years. A scenario where 10 years from now, where a customer says, I love Amazon, I just wish the prices were a little higher.
So forget what you think you know. We're about to install a new operating system for your wealth. The 25-50-15-10 rule of wealth. The wealthy don't just wish for riches. They don't hope to retire someday. Hope is not a strategy. They build their wealth with a cold, hard mathematical blueprint. They give every dollar a job. And the most powerful yet simple system for this is what I call the 25-50-15-10 rule. This isn't some gimmick. It's a balanced framework that forces you to prioritize wealth building, protect yourself from disaster, live your life, and even have some fun all at the same time. It's a money map that helps you grow, stay protected, and actually enjoy your life. Here's how it works. Every single dollar you earn gets split into 4 buckets based on these percentages. This rule works whether you make $25,000 or $250,000 a year, because it's not about the raw amount you make. It's about the discipline of how you manage what you have. Let's break down the system, step by step. Step 1. The 50%. The first and largest piece of the pie is for your essentials. 50% of your take-home pay is allocated to cover the things you absolutely need to live. This includes your housing payment, utilities, groceries, transportation, and insurance. This is the cost of existing, the mere cost of breathing. But here's the trap that swallows everyone else whole: lifestyle inflation. The average person gets a raise, and this 50% bucket immediately gets bigger. A nicer car, a bigger apartment, fancier groceries, and it feels like nothing has changed. Their essentials suddenly expand to eat up all the new money. The wealthy fight this relentlessly. They see that 50% not as a target to hit, but as a ceiling to stay under. They understand that every dollar they don't spend on a bigger house or a fancier car is a dollar they can divert to the most important category of all, which we'll get to next. Controlling this 50% is your first line of defense. It's about being ruthlessly honest about what's a need versus what's an ego payment. A reliable car is a need. A brand new luxury SUV is an ego payment. Your goal is to live well, but to keep this category as lean as possible so you can fuel your freedom. Step 2. The 25%? This is it. This is the part that separates the wealthy from everyone else. 25% of your income goes directly to growth. This isn't money to be spent. This is money that goes to work for you. Its only job is to buy and build assets that increase in value and generate more money. This is your wealth engine, your knight in shining armor. This is the money you use to invest in things like real estate, property, or even building a side business. This is where you shift from an earner to an owner. An earner trades their time for money. An owner uses their money to buy back their time. The key to this step is automation. The same day your paycheck hits your account, you must have an automatic transfer set up to move this 25% into your investment accounts. You pay your future self first before you pay for rent, groceries, or anything else. The money is gone before you can be tempted to spend it. If 25% sounds terrifying right now, start with what you can and aggressively work your way up. But know this is the percentage that directly buys your freedom. The higher this number, the faster you escape the rat race. And do me a favor and comment below what you've invested in and for how long. This lets others know they're not alone in the race. Step 3. The 15%. Every fortress needs a moat to protect it from attack. In your financial life, that moat is your stability fund, and it's funded with 15% of your income until it's full. This bucket has one job: to protect your growth engine from life's inevitable disasters. This is your "oh no" fund. This is not investment money. This money goes into a boring, safe bank account where you can get it quickly. The rule of thumb is to build this up until it can cover 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses, the 50% bucket we talked about. Without this fund, a surprise medical bill, a car repair, or a job loss becomes a catastrophe. You're forced to sell your investments at the worst possible time or go into high-interest debt, setting you back years. Your stability fund turns a potential disaster into a mere inconvenience. It's the shock absorber that lets your wealth-building machine keep running, no matter what punches life throws. Once you hit your 3-6-month target, you can redirect this 15% to accelerate your growth bucket even faster. Step 4. The 10%. Finally, we have the last 10%. This is your money for joy. This is for the things that make life worth living. It's for vacations, hobbies, dinners out with friends, and anything else you want but don't necessarily need. This is a crucial part of the system because it prevents burnout. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. If your plan is nothing but deprivation, you will fail in the blink of an eye. By allocating a specific percentage to guilt-free spending, you give yourself permission to enjoy the journey. You know that spending this money isn't derailing your future because it was part of the plan all along. Spend on some games or a romantic dinner with your wife. Use this to relax, breathe, and just enjoy life. This intentional approach is the opposite of how most people spend. They spend impulsively, feel guilty, and have no idea how it impacts their goals. With this rule, your fun is planned, purposeful, and keeps you motivated to stick with the system for the long haul. The story of Max. Max was the poster child for the high earner, no wealth trap we talked about earlier. He was a talented software engineer pulling in a solid 6-figure salary. On the surface, he was successful. He drove a German sedan he couldn't really afford, lived in a trendy downtown apartment with rent that made his eyes water, and had a closet full of clothes he barely wore. But behind the scenes, Max was a mess. He was stressed, living paycheck to paycheck, and had less than $1,000 in savings. A single unexpected bill would have shattered his entire life. He was a passenger in his own financial car, and it was careening towards a cliff. Then he discovered this framework. He was skeptical. It felt too simple, too boring. Where was the hot stock tip? The secret crypto? But he was desperate, so he gave it a shot. He sat down, crunched the numbers, and applied the rules we just talked about. The first move was the hardest. He sold the fancy car and bought a reliable, used one. He had to murder his ego. He moved to a slightly less trendy but far more affordable apartment when his lease was up. He slashed his 50% essentials bucket, not by living like a monk, but by cutting out the ego payments. Then, he set up the automation. The day his paycheck hit, 25% was automatically whisked away. He never even saw it. He called it his freedom tax. He channeled another 15% into his emergency or quit your job fund until his 6-month moat was full. And you know what? 6 months in, his transmission blew. In his old life, that would have meant high-interest credit card debt, but with his stability fund, it was just an annoyance. It was the first time he felt a real sense of control. And the 10% Joy Fund? It was a game changer. He used it to take a weekend trip he'd always wanted to, completely guilt-free, because it was part of the plan. It stopped him from quitting. Fast forward 3 years. Is Max a billionaire? No, but he has over $100,000 in his investment accounts, working for him 24/7. He has zero consumer debt. He sleeps through the night because he knows he's protected from disaster. He isn't just surviving anymore, he's building. He took back control by shifting from being a consumer to being an owner. He proves that it's not your income that sets you free, it's the system you use to manage it. Okay, so we've laid out the entire blueprint, and you've seen a real-world example in Max's story. But knowledge without action is useless. I know the most likely outcome is you'll nod along, feel inspired for 10 minutes, and then go back to your old habits. So, to stop you from doing that, you need to take this video and dissolve it in water and drink it up. Just kidding, you know how to take it from here. So, have you ever set up an emergency fund? Comment below and do let me know if you found this information helpful. Watch more game-changing videos on becoming a billionaire and hit subscribe to fuel your journey with elite-level strategies to attract unstoppable wealth. Like and share this content with your friends and family.